Natsuki is a grown man with a stable job, a normal life, and a past he absolutely hates. Back in high school, he wasn't just awkward, he was a full-on loser. He tried to act outgoing, failed miserably, and ended up as the kind of background trash everyone quietly avoided. And the worst part? He simped hard for the most popular girl in school, Hikari, confessed his feelings, and got rejected, leaving him with a memory he can't shake no matter how much time passes. Now older, and supposedly successful, Natsuki still can't let it go. So one night, staring up at the sky like a man desperate for a redo, he makes a simple wish: to relive his teenage years and fix everything he messed up. And somehow, reality actually listens. Natsuki wakes up disoriented after falling out of bed. He checks the mirror and realizes something is wrong. He looks younger. He becomes more confused when his sister walks in wearing a school uniform. She insists it is 2014, the year he originally graduated from middle school. After confirming the date on his phone, Natsuki realizes he has somehow traveled 7 years into the past. Rather than dwell on how it happened, he focuses on what matters. He has a second chance. With 1 month before high school begins, he decides to completely reinvent himself. Determined not to repeat his past mistakes, he commits to rigorous self-improvement. He trains daily, builds his physique, switches to contact lenses, and updates his hairstyle. By the time the entrance ceremony arrives, he is almost unrecognizable. During his training period, he runs into his childhood friend Miori. She is shocked by his transformation and teases him about preparing for a high school debut. Despite their distance during middle school, she expresses genuine pride in his effort. On the day of the entrance ceremony, Natsuki feels nervous but resolute. His improved appearance draws attention from other students, though he struggles to process it due to his lingering insecurity. Beneath the cherry blossoms, he spots Hikari again. She is as beautiful as he remembers, and seeing her reignites his determination, not just to win her affection, but to live a fulfilling high school life. Hikari is soon joined by her friend Yuino, and the two head toward the school together. Natsuki recalls that they attended the same middle school, which puts him at a disadvantage socially. Nearby, he overhears a group consisting of Sakura, Reita, and Tatsuya. They introduce themselves, and Natsuki cautiously engages with them. Tatsuya, who once confronted him harshly in the previous timeline, now greets him without hostility. This difference reassures Natsuki that the future is not fixed. Sakura boldly touches Natsuki's abs, embarrassing him. Reita apologizes for her behavior, while Tatsuya also appreciates Natsuki's physique. Their friendly attitude is very different from what Natsuki experienced before in his past life, making him feel hopeful that he can build real friendships this time. Inside the classroom, Sakura immediately approaches Hikari and openly admires her beauty. Yuino joins in the teasing, revealing that Hikari had long been considered the most attractive girl at their previous school. Natsuki sees this as an opportunity to interact and introduces himself. Despite his inner doubts, the group accepts him, and Yuino even offers to share information about Hikari's interests. Hikari, embarrassed by the attention, insists she is not as special as they claim. Natsuki, speaking honestly, tells her she cannot deny her beauty, which makes her blush, a rare reaction that Yuino notes. This small success boosts Natsuki's confidence. He begins to feel that his second chance is already unfolding differently. During self-introductions, however, Natsuki recalls his past mistake. In his previous life, he tried too hard to stand out, delivering an awkward and overly dramatic introduction that alienated his classmates. Now aware of that failure, he keeps things simple and avoids drawing unnecessary attention. After class, Sakura invites him to join their group in exploring school clubs. Natsuki eagerly agrees. They visit the literature club first, where Hikari shows interest. Everyone is drawn to her, but she stays calm and handles the attention easily. Natsuki admires her composure, noting how naturally she navigates social situations. They then visit the soccer club, where Reita is warmly welcomed by former teammates. At the basketball court, Sakura becomes excited, but spirals into self-deprecating humor about her height and appearance. Tatsuya attempts to calm her, but he is quickly pulled into practice by club members. Miori later appears and congratulates Natsuki on his progress. Observing their interaction, Reita comments on how close they seem, though both deny it. Miori playfully expresses interest in Reita and asks Natsuki to act as her wingman, offering to help him in return. A week later, the group faces a lull when basketball practice is temporarily canceled. Hikari suggests they spend the weekend together, and everyone agrees. Though Sakura initially wants a one-on-one outing with Hikari, the group decides to go as a whole. Natsuki, not tied to any club yet, readily commits. After school, Natsuki notices that Hikari is walking home alone. Remembering her schedule, he deliberately approaches her and suggests they walk together. She agrees, and the two share a quiet conversation. Natsuki asks about her club activities, already aware of her routine from his previous life. He uses this knowledge carefully, aiming to connect without appearing suspicious. While they talk, they realize they have not finalized plans for the weekend. Natsuki suggests organizing it online, prompting Hikari to create a group chat. She asks for a name, and Natsuki jokingly proposes Hikari Fan Club, which she quickly rejects. Instead, she names it Natsuki Family, catching him off guard. Yuino joins the chat almost immediately, adding her usual teasing energy. Hikari snaps a candid photo of Natsuki and sets it as the group icon, making him flustered. In response, he takes a photo of her, which embarrasses her in turn. Just then, Hikari moves closer and takes a selfie of the two together, replacing the icon again. Yuino jokingly accuses them of flirting, which both deny, though their reactions suggest otherwise. Natsuki looks at the shared photo and feels a sense of warmth and possibility. For the first time, his high school life begins to take on the vibrant colors he once thought he had lost forever. Natsuki sits on his bed, surrounded by scattered clothes, unsure of what to wear for the upcoming group outing. Unlike his previous life, he now understands that small details can shape first impression. While he struggles to decide, he receives a message from Mayuri asking him to meet. She wants information about Reita, whom she has taken an interest in. Though confused by how quickly she has grown attached, Natsuki agrees to help, seeing an opportunity to ask for something in return. He asks her to assist him in choosing proper clothes for the outing. Mayuri agrees, and the two spend time shopping together. By the end of the trip, Natsuki has a new outfit that suits him far better. He sincerely thanks her, recognizing that she is the only person he can rely on for honest guidance. They renew their agreement. Natsuki will support her pursuit of Reita, and Mayuri will help him improve his image and navigate his new high school life. On the day of the outing, Natsuki arrives at the meeting point wearing the clothes Mayuri helped him pick. The group gathers, each dressed casually yet stylishly. As they head toward the sports center, Hikari walks beside Natsuki and comments on his outfit. His first instinct is insecurity, asking if it looks strange, but she reassures him that it suits him well. Encouraged, he compliments her in return, describing her outfit as cool. Hikari smiles and explains that she prefers androgynous fashion, appreciating his choice of words. At the sports center, Sakura bursts with energy, eager to try different activities. Reita suggests starting with table tennis since it is available. Hikari confidently claims she is skilled at it, despite admitting she struggles with most sports. Tatsuya challenges her immediately, but before she can respond, Sakura steps in, declaring she will face him first. Their match begins with intensity, while Natsuki uses the moment to invite Hikari to play separately. She agrees, asking him to take it easy. As they play, it quickly becomes clear that Hikari's confidence does not match her ability. She misses nearly every shot, unable to return even simple hits. Natsuki tries to remain polite, but Yuino openly points out Hikari's lack of skill, calling it her only flaw. Hikari pouts, but insists she still enjoys sports regardless of her performance. Natsuki finds this aspect of her endearing, realizing that her attitude matters more than her ability. The games continue, eventually turning into a friendly competition. The boys, Natsuki, Reita, and Tatsuya, advance to the later rounds, with Reita ultimately defeating Tatsuya in the final. Despite the competitive atmosphere, the group maintains a lighthearted mood. Tatsuya, determined to make the most of their time, pushes to try more activities without rest, showing his intense personality. Meanwhile, Sakura suggests giving him space, but Hikari argues that ignoring a friend feels wrong. Reita and Yuino counter that true friends do not need constant consideration, introducing Natsuki to a more relaxed and genuine form of friendship than he has experienced before. They eventually take a break and gather for drinks. Sakura raises a toast to celebrate the start of their high school life and their growing friendship. The girls share playful affection, while the boys exchange compliments. Reita praises Natsuki for keeping up physically, despite not belonging to any sports club. Sakura and Tatsuya also acknowledge his strength, questioning why he does not join a team. Natsuki explains that he plans to get a part-time job instead, citing financial reasons. This leads Yuino to suggest he visit her workplace, a cafe called Cafe Mars. The revelation surprises Hikari, who did not know Yuino had a job. Yuino casually explains that she enjoys working there and believes it would suit Natsuki as well. He agrees to check it out, seeing it as another step toward improving his life. Later, while Natsuki steps away to refill his drink, Reita follows him. He gently confronts Natsuki about his behavior around Tatsuya, noting that he seems distant and uneasy despite getting along with everyone else. Natsuki cannot deny it. He admits the issue lies within himself, not Tatsuya. The lingering emotions from his previous life, where Tatsuya played a significant role in his struggles, continue to affect him subconsciously. He asks Reita to keep this conversation private while he works through his feeling. Reita agrees, expressing trust in Natsuki's ability to resolve it. This interaction leaves a strong impression on Natsuki. He recognizes Reita's perceptiveness and sincerity, qualities that strengthen his respect for him. After resting, the group moves to the basketball court. Sakura and Tatsuya quickly immerse themselves in the game, clearly passionate about the sport. Watching them triggers memories for Natsuki. In his previous life, basketball was one of the few activities he genuinely enjoyed, even though he struggled socially within the team. Rita tosses him the ball, prompting him to join. At first, Natsuki hesitates, but once he begins playing, his body responds naturally. His training and past experience combine, allowing him to perform at a high level. He makes a clean three-point shot, surprising everyone. Encouraged, he follows with another successful shot, demonstrating both skill and confidence. The group reacts with admiration. Sakura excitedly urges him to join the basketball team, convinced he has natural talent. Natsuki downplays his ability, attributing it to personal training rather than experience. Tatsuya, observing quietly, steps forward and challenges him to a one-on-one match, stating he cannot judge his skill without seeing more. Natsuki accepts, recognizing this as an opportunity to confront the fear he has carried over from his past. The game begins with intensity. Drawing from his previous experience, Natsuki anticipates Tatsuya's movements and counters them effectively. He scores the first point, then blocks Tatsuya's attempt by predicting his feint. Using both strategy and improved physical ability, he gains another point. Tatsuya responds by increasing his effort, managing to score and proving his own strength as the team's ace. The match becomes a test of both skill and resolve. As Natsuki prepares for the final point, he reflects on his past. He realizes that his fear of Tatsuya was never rooted in hatred, but in admiration. Tatsuya's natural talent and confidence once overwhelmed him, making him feel inferior. Now, with a second chance, Natsuki chooses to face him directly. He steals the ball, creates space, and takes the final shot. The ball goes in, securing his victory. Tatsuya falls to the ground, tired but not angry. Instead, he looks at Natsuki with respect. Sakura runs over, excited, and grabs Natsuki's arms to celebrate. Natsuki doesn't know how to react, but he feels truly happy about his win. In that moment, he realizes this victory means more than just a game. Tatsuya stands up, and he no longer looks like a rival, but someone who accepts him, marking the start of a new bond between them. Natsuki stands in the kitchen of Cafe Mars, expertly preparing a meal for a customer. His movements are professional and confident, a stark contrast to how he would have acted during his original high school years. Because he worked in a restaurant during his university years in his first life, he already possesses the culinary skills of an adult. The customers are impressed, and his manager praises him for how quickly he has adapted to the job. Right then, his friends Sakura, Tatsuya, and Reita arrive at the cafe to visit him. Sakura immediately begins to act very close to Natsuki, leaning into him and treating him with an intimacy that makes him blush. Tatsuya watches this with growing discomfort. The group takes photos together to share in their group chat, but Hikari is noticeably absent, which Natsuki quietly notes. And when the food is served, Sakura asks Tatsuya for a bite of his personal omuris, but Tatsuya becomes bashful and tells her to get her own. Midterm exams are approaching, and with them comes academic stress. Tatsuya suggests they just enjoy themselves, but Hikari and Reita insist that they must prioritize their grades. Natsuki decides to use his future knowledge to help his friends. Having worked as a tutor in his first life, he knows exactly how to break down complex subjects into simple, understandable concepts. He stays up late creating customized, color-coded study guides specifically for Sakura, who struggles the most with the material. The group holds a study session in an empty classroom. Natsuki sits with Hikari, helping her with her questions. He finds himself mesmerized by her smile, feeling that his Rainbow Youth project is finally moving in the right direction. However, Sakura also demands his attention. During a moment where Natsuki is explaining a problem to her, Sakura leans in so close that they almost accidentally kiss. They both pull away in a panic, and Tatsuya, watching from across the room, tells them to stop acting so intimate in public. Tatsuya appears increasingly frustrated, especially since Natsuki seems to be excelling at everything: sports, cooking, and now academics. One night, Natsuki receives a phone call from Hikari. He is initially excited just to hear her voice, but she is calling because she is worried about Tatsuya. She mentions that Tatsuya has seemed down lately and asks Natsuki if he knows what is bothering him. Natsuki, still somewhat oblivious to the complex emotional dynamics of his new friend group, promises to keep an eye on him. He reflects on his original life, where Tatsuya was the only person who defended him when he was an overweight social outcast. Natsuki truly admires Tatsuya and wants to be his friend, yet he fails to see how his own perfect performance is inadvertently hurting Tatsuya's pride. After the exams are finished, the group goes to a karaoke bar to celebrate. Ueno performs first, surprising everyone with her talent, as she has studied classical music and piano her whole life. When it is Natsuki's turn, he is nervous. In his first life, he spent countless hours at solo karaoke to relieve his stress and loneliness, which made him a very skilled singer. He chooses the song Ketsui no Asa ni by Aqua Taimez, and as he sings, he pours all the hidden pain and regret from his past into the lyrics, thinking about the second chance he has been given to live a better life. His performance is so moving that the room falls silent. Sakura, who is supposed to sing with him, stops and simply watches him, mesmerized. Even Tatsuya is momentarily stunned, but the realization that Natsuki is even a better singer than him becomes the final straw. Tatsuya suddenly slams his hands on the table and storms out of the room. The group is left in a shocked silence. Natsuki follows him out to the hallway, catching up to him to ask what is wrong. Tatsuya tells him to stay away, confessing that he feels pathetic when he is around someone as perfect as Natsuki. He explains that basketball was the one thing he felt good at, but Natsuki defeated him there too. Tatsuya feels completely overshadowed and eventually admits that he just wants to be left alone. Reita joins them in the hallway, having overheard the confrontation. He pulls Natsuki aside and explains the situation in plain terms that Natsuki's adult mind finally understands. Reita reveals that Tatsuya is deeply in love with Sakura. However, it has become obvious to everyone, except Natsuki, that Sakura is falling for Natsuki. Tatsuya is suffering from intense jealousy and an inferiority complex because Natsuki is succeeding in every area of life where Tatsuya wanted to stand out. Natsuki is devastated by this revelation. He realized he has been so focused on his own goals and his pursuit of Hikari that he completely ignored the feelings of the person he wanted to befriend the most. Reita tries to comfort him, telling him that it is not his fault for being talented and that Tatsuya needs to handle his own insecurities. Despite this, Natsuki feels a heavy weight of responsibility. He acknowledges that even with the memories of an adult, he is still bad at understanding the emotions of the people around him. The colorful youth he tried so hard to build is starting to look gray again as his group of friends begins to drift apart.
And that is it for today. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and feel free to write whatever you want in the comments section. Thank you for watching.